do you deal with holding that notion in your head more and more as you age, as you recognize, as you experience actual decline? How do you reckon with it? And the answer that Tom Cruise gives us and that America's giving us is you fucking put the goddamn pedal to the goddamn metal. Because the American death now, David Foster Wallace and Felix Biederman agree on this, is somebody driving headfirst into a concrete pylon in a fucking Lamborghini. That is it. That is the only way to end this, is that you just have to take what you are doing that is killing you and do it more. And so that is why every one of these Mission Impossible movies, Cruise is doing a more and more extreme stunt. If he dies during one of them, he will have succeeded.
Valhalla.
Yes, 1,000%. So then why don't they kill him in the movie? I thought that he had to have died.
Because he has to really die. What I'm saying is, like,
right, okay,
where he can't die even in the movie, he cannot accept it. Like, yeah, he does the I'm going to sacrifice myself thing, but then the narrative can't kill him. He cannot be killed. We can accept feeling like good people for trying to sacrifice, but we cannot accept having the consequences for that. Like, our narratives can't. Our narratives are built on the opposite. Forward forever, always winning, always victorious, America continuing. We cannot process it. Tom Cruise can't process it. So when he goes to do the noble sacrifice that should be like him coming to terms with decline. Okay, if I'm going to decline, then let my death mean something. He tries to do it. They won't let him. And you get that great scene where they both survive and they're yelling at each other. Like, how did you? Because it's not supposed to happen. There's only supposed to be one person there. That's supposed to be Miles Teller, but he can't do it, which means that in real life, he is going to have to fall off of like the International Space Station or whatever the fuck is going to kill him in one of these movies.
Like Brad Pitt in Solaris.
Burn up on re-entry.
Yeah. And just like we are going to just collapse into oblivion from within rather than recognize and try to step down from where we are. A system that insists, no, we have to have 6th-gen fighters. Well, literally every other element of our social structure is dissolving like a goddamn it's dissolving like fucking cotton candy in the first row at SeaWorld.
even the fifth gen fighters
we have to have 5th-gen fighters.
But we have to have 6th gen.
We have to have 8th-gen fighters so that we can blow this thing up at once, so that we can make an act that we delusionally think is gonna keep us going, that ends up being our nemesis, because we cannot step down. We cannot look at the reality of decline, of time, what it really means. We can't look inward. So we have to just press the accelerator. And that leaves us in a situation where this movie is supposed to end with the Miles Teller getting in the F-814 and flying home, and instead you got this old motherfucker hanging around.
It's kind of like when he would have let Jeremy Renner replace him in Mission Impossible. It's the same thing. It's like he can't step down. He has to go into the wall.
Exactly. Cavill, they set up Cavill in that. I don't think, is it the most recent? The one.
Yeah, it's the most recent one.
It's the most recent one.
Oh, Cavill, not Renner. Sorry.
They set him up like the same way they brought in Shia LaBeouf for Harrison Ford, but then halfway through the movie, actually he's evil. Actually, he has to be destroyed. And then, by the way, they're doing another Indiana Jones. Guess what? No Shia LaBeouf. 85,000-year-old Harrison Ford.
Well, speaking about just slamming your foot down on the accelerator and just going straight into a wall. The mission particulars themselves in this movie are like, okay, so like they're attacking one of Iran's heavily fortified uranium enrichment plants, which is basically at the bottom of like a caldera. But to access, to get to the point where they can drop their laser guided bombs, they need to. It's 2 sets of 2, one to paint the target and the other to drop the bomb. And then the first bomb opens up the hole, and then the second one blows up the whole motherfucker. It's basically like the Death Star. There's
it is
one exhaust.
It's exactly the Death Star.
It's
down to the young pilot who's still learning the ways of the Force. Has bomb it without his tracking device. Because the fucking laser doesn't work. The whole thing is the last sequence of Star Wars.
And it's like he's doing the use the Force Luke thing to him.
And he says, don't think, just do. Eyes. Yeah. He says, Tom Cruise literally says, a Maverick says to Rooster, he's like, you gotta fly instinctually. If you think up there, you're dead. And like I think at one point he literally says, "Don't think, do." So yeah, he's on that Yoda tip. But also crucially, to get to the caldera where like they do an inverted thing, like they do an inverted like arc over the top of the first, like the lip of the rim of the mountain, and then they got to hit the target and then just pull straight up and pull like 9 Gs for like 10 seconds, which like most pilots you just black out, like it's just your brain just turns off. But before that, they have to fly below 500 feet, like 500 feet off the ground, through a canyon system that like weaves in and out to avoid the surface, the SAM batteries, the SAM missiles. So they got to fly under the missile batteries and do this like all in under 2.5 minutes or something like that.
The SAM batteries, which for some reason, even though they launched this barrage of Tomahawks to take out the air base, they can't fucking shoot, even though they know where the SAMs are.
Yes.
They can't fucking blast these SAM batteries for some reason.
I'm trying to think of any explanation that maybe because they're right on the edges of the canyon, right?
Yeah, they're right at like the top of the
garbage and like Rebel.
I don't know.
Wouldn't be able to fly in there.
I doubt it.
Because like if they blew them all up,
too much
they
debris.
wouldn't worry about the canyon, right? They could just go right in.
But and many times in this movie, like John Hamm comes up to the edge of basically saying this is a suicide mission for anyone who does it. And about halfway through the movie, like he's trying to train all the pilots, like they have like in their nav computer, like they're practicing doing the run, and like none of them can get it right. So John Hamm's like, okay, we're just going to give you more time to do this, which just is like the longer it takes, like the longer, like the higher your likelihood of just dying doing this. And then, like, once again, against orders, Maverick Mitchell takes a plane out and, like, does the run in, like, under 2 minutes, 15 seconds and just shows them all how to do that. And then at that point, they're like, oh, like, I guess you should just fly this mission.
Yeah, that was out pretty early.
Yeah. And I was like, wait a second. This is a suicide mission. No one else can fly it other than Pete Maverick Mitchell. But why even have this thing of like, oh, you have to teach these kids how to do it? Like, they're young. They're at the prime of their life. Maverick Mitchell's been trying to die for the last 30 years. He's got no wife, no kids.
They need 3 other pilots because they need the 2 packages. They need the laser because you need one to paint the target with laser and the other to fire the rocket.
Yeah.
So you need 2 sets, you need 2 rockets. They set that up. So you need 3 fighters. But the fact that he wasn't just at the beginning assumed to be the fucking team leader is insane. You need to get 3 guys, not 4 guys. Because the first training montage is they just do dogfighting and like, whoever gets
he washes all of them.
Whoever gets tone first on the other one wins. And they all have to do like push-ups. And it's just this montage of him owning everybody and never getting shot down. And it's like they're still expecting him to just like go, all right, good luck, guys.
Okay.
The guy who's clearly superior to all of you, by far the best player on the team. I'm going to just hang out on the bench giving you the thumbs up.
I give John Hamm a lot of credit here because he gets the absolute most cliched line in the movie where he's like, Maverick, I don't know whether to drum you out of the Navy or make you the leader of this goddamn mission.
Yep.
And he actually manages to pull it off, but it's like, oh my God, that's so cringy. Come on. But that's where it ends with him as the new leader of the team.
Is there a McCain link here with the Maverick? I don't know if McCain was already nicknamed that in the early 80s. He probably was, but he's another Navy flyer who was nicknamed Maverick. I've never been able to find anything, but there has to be.
I don't know if he had that reputation.
Was that his call sign, or just what he started calling himself after he was in Congress?
I'm
pretty sure it was a Congress thing.
I mean, his record as an aviator, he should be fucking Goose.
Piss poor.
He should be Goose, not Maverick.
Yeah, Kamala Harris just honored it.
I mean, he was still in the wake of the what was the banking scandal?
Yeah,
Keating, savings and loans.
It was a rebranding after the Keating 5 thing. He should have. He should have been Daddy's boy. That should have been his call sign.
Junior.
Yeah.
According to one post that I found, not many sites, but a few people backing it up. It was Playboy.
Nice.
I mean, Maverick would have been a good call sign because while you mainstream pilots keep your planes in the air, fucking John McCain just crashes them because he doesn't give a shit. He's a fucking.
They're supposed to not be on fire.
Yeah.
Okay, if that's what the rule book says.
Well, Speaking of
Whatever, Square.
Speaking of wrecking airplanes, it's in this movie, but it's also a big part of the first movie. It's something that always pissed me off. It's like whenever they're reaming out Maverick or something, they're like, you almost crashed a $30 million airplane. They're like, hey, that plane doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the taxpayers. Think of the taxpayers. And whenever I saw that, it always pissed me off because I'm like, yeah, it belongs to the taxpayers. I can't fly a fucking F-18. The guy in the box, it's his goddamn plane. I don't care if he fucking crashes it or not. He's got the skills. It's the man with the fucking stick in between his legs. That's it.
Yeah, and they're also worried about budgets. Like, Harris is really worried about a budget. How much money can they possibly? It's like moving around money.
They give them more money than they ask for every year.
Literally every general and admiral says we need less money.
They say, please, no more Abrams tanks, please. We're full. Yeah. We literally have no.
They say they don't want
them, haven't they? They said, look, we have too many Abrams tanks. We don't need any more. Stop making them. And they're like, no, there's factories that make them, so you're going to have more Abrams tanks. So they just stuff themselves.
Ranking officers who say they don't need weapons. So it just made no sense from the very beginning that they had to shut down the Mach 10 test program.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it would be either or. Like it's not both.
Right.
Like it's drone army and this thing that can go into space.
It's explicitly both. I mean, this is the F-35 angle when they revealed the plane and revealed that it couldn't do any dogfighting. It was like, well, we'll send them up as each F-35 pilot is going to be like the commander of his own drone swarm, and like the drones will do all the actual fighting, and the F-35 will just be the hub.